Do we have any public or union comments this evening? We will be rescheduling tonight's educational showcase to a meeting later in the year. And so hopefully all of you have had the opportunity to review the minutes from the March 21st meeting in your packet. I would sponsor a motion to approve them. Do I have a second? Trustee Jazzowitz, any discussion on the motion? Any modifications? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. We will move on to Dr. Truckenmiller and the chairman's report, or the president's report.
Okay, there is not yet a New York State budget, but from what we're hearing, it looks like the funding for community colleges is going to be essentially level with what it was last year. There may be some additional money that is negotiated in that they'll turn into grants or something like that. We don't anticipate operating aid to change. We have a budget workshop later tonight. We'll talk about that. Earlier this week, we hosted the Fulton County Supervisors, some of the trustees attend, as well as some of our foundation directors. This was a follow-up to the meeting that I had with them in their chambers in March. So we had a pretty good turnout, wouldn't you say, Jack, of Fulton County Supervisors. I think there were 9.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah, and most of them were the new supervisors because there's a significant number of new supervisors in the county.
And a lot of positive comments from your tour that you gave.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. And we, as Jack said, we gave them a tour, we fed them, we talked a little bit about the college again. And so we're planning to do a similar event for the Montgomery County legislators in the next month or so. I met with the legislative committees on Tuesday night. We talked about as we've talked in this group before, about the project management agreement with DASNY to take on one of our capital projects this summer. That discussion went well. They approved a resolution to move that to their full board or their full body next week. And then we also talked about the land sale inquiry that the two legislative bodies received from our neighbor, and sort of brought that to a close, that none of the bodies are interested in selling property from the college at this point. This morning, we had our annual meeting with the superintendents here in this room. That's why it's set up this way. That's always a good, rich discussion that we have with them, where we have the opportunity to not only talk about the college and showcase what's going on with us, but also to hear from them and talk about how we can collaborate, how we can, improve the pipeline of students from our local schools. And actually, one of the action items that we walked away with is, instead of having annual meetings here at the college with us, they've invited us to attend on a monthly basis. They meet every month, and so they've invited, either me or a representative to come to their meetings, so that we have an ongoing and regular dialogue. You may have noticed a lot of cars in the parking lot when you pulled in. We had our job fair that was co-sponsored with the chamber today. That's also an annual event, and it seems like we had a pretty good turnout. And I know, Grant's going to mention that, and probably Arlene's going to mention that. So if anybody wants to expand on that, feel free. And then I want to share with you, we talked about this in the past, and we took bets on the side, and finally happened. We have a new website. I just want to give you a quick preview of that. For posterity's sake, I will share that. So this is consistent with our new branding efforts, and laid out a little differently, looking for a fresh, more modern look than what we had. All websites over time get to be dated and funky, and so we definitely felt it was time to put a new website in place, and focuses on the FMCC difference. It focuses on careers and how you get into careers and spotlights programs. And it literally launched 4 hours, not even 4 hours ago. So I'm sure that we'll find things that need to be fixed. But along with that, there was a press release and also a short video that share with you.
Hello, I'm Greg Truckenmiller, president of SUNY Fulton-Montgomery Community College. We recently incorporated SUNY as part of our name to reinforce that we are part of the State University of New York, the largest public higher education system in the world, where our graduates are guaranteed transfer to one of 34 SUNY universities and colleges across the state. This change also represents greater opportunities for our students and community. We've positioned SUNY FMCC to be responsive to the needs of our local and regional economy by expanding seats in our nursing and radiologic technology programs and developing new offerings in the cannabis industry through our direct-to-work individual studies program. I encourage you to explore our new website, where we have made a concerted effort to showcase potential career paths for each of our academic programs, whether you are entering the workforce directly upon graduating or transferring to a 4-year SUNY private college. We continue to expand internships and job placement partnerships with business and industry, and have designed greater student support programs. Our tuition is one of the best prices in the higher education marketplace, with nearly 80% of our students receiving financial aid grants and scholarships. This often covers a large portion of your bill, which means little to no debt. I encourage you to make the smart choice and apply now to SUNY FMCC.
I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out and coming here today. My name is Dan Fogarty. I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs here at Fulton.
And that concludes my report for the moment. I'm happy to answer any questions or entertain any comments.
Website looks great.
Yeah, very good.
Dr. Truckmiller,
Yes, ma'am.
when we said, in the past, we can transfer easily from one college to another college. But in addition, recently, this is a commitment between us and SUNY Albany, period. Am I right?
So we did recently announce a dual admission agreement with SUNY Albany.
Yeah.
That does not replace any of our other transfer agreements, any of our other articulations. What it represents and what's different about it is that once a student is admitted to that program, they're also a UAlbany student. The other distinctive difference about this is the presence that UAlbany has on our campus. So you had the opportunity to see that on the tour, as did the other trustees that were with me yesterday or the other day. We have a room dedicated to UAlbany. They, spent some money on it. It's painted in purple and gold, and they've got a staff person that's here. They also will bring in financial aid counselors, actual academic counselors as well. At various points, they are hoping at some point to offer their freshman year experience as sort of an orientation to UAlbany, to those students that are admitted into that program. So having that presence does make it unique and make it stand out. We have a number of 2+2s or dual admission agreements with other institutions as well, but this one is really sort of the crown jewel. And also it's where a lot of our students go. So it makes a lot of sense for us.
Sorry. I was gonna say, so in essence, they're just basically committing to go to Albany once they finish here.
They are. And then
And they've got access to SUNY Albany's facilities right away.
That's right. They get a UAlbany ID. They can go to, the library at Albany. They can go to their speaker events. As you heard from the lady yesterday, they want to get them down for athletic events as well. So
Providing that the student take decent courses here.
Correct. They have to take the right courses, so that the agreements that we sign really provide them with a roadmap if you take these classes and get a certain grades, you will get seamlessly into Albany. There's also scholarship dollars that are available to students who are part of that program as well.
That's huge.
It is very significant. And Trustee Wilson sent me a link yesterday. Adirondack just had an announcement with Plattsburgh. Now, they've had Plattsburgh on their campus for a number of years. In fact, they have a facility that I don't remember the name of it, but their intent at one point was to have a number of four-year institutions on their campus. But as far as I know, it's just Plattsburgh at this moment that has a presence there. UAlbany is also partnering with Adirondack and Hudson Valley. So we're one of 3 community colleges that they identified that they wanted to form this particular partnership with. So it's huge for our students, and we're very proud of it. We also have a short video about that, but I'm not going to share that tonight.
I saw the video.
Yes.
Excellent. We will move on to the College Senate report with Steve Hemwich.
Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. So at our last assembly report, which was right at the end of March, right before spring break, if I'm not mistaken, I'd mentioned to everyone that our elections are coming up for open committee positions. And so most of them have actually been filled at this point. We're in pretty good shape there, which has not always been the case in the past. So I'm happy about that. And I did remind all the committees to look at their charges and come up with a 6-year assessment plan to assess their charges twice within that 6-year cycle. As a matter of fact, the curriculum committee today, Dr. Truckermill was here as well. We were talking about doing just that. So hopefully we'll make some progress there. Joe Teppin, the SSA president, gave us a talk and told us some information that had been happening with the SSA and some of the students involved with that. He noted, I guess, probably you all know this already, but execution is going to be around for another year. So I think that's good. And the vice chair of the SSA is running for the SUNY executive board. So we'll see what happens with that. And there was a discussion, I guess, about increasing the student activity fee. I'm not exactly sure what the sentiment was about that. I'm not sure if he conveyed that, but there was discussion around that. And he did note that a number of clubs have been deactivated, at least temporarily, because of inactivity. So I think we're going to have to try to work next semester, next academic year to sort of help resuscitate those. I'm going to go past the president's talk because he gave it to us. And I don't know if Arlene is there or not, but she noted that Jerry Pertel from Family Counseling Center is going to be a resource for students. And we had a number of students visit the college, as you likely know, on April 16th. And open houses this weekend coming up. And April 23rd is Wellness Day. So there's a bunch of things going on related to student affairs. And she had mentioned if anybody knows anyone who might be qualified and willing to do peer mentoring, they're looking for people for those positions. And she also congratulated C-STEP for their overnight trip to New York City. Also of note, the Dean of Academic Affairs had reminded us, and Jason Radlin will remind us soon as well, that the spring play will be taking place on May 1st and 2nd, both during Common Hour. That's a Wednesday and Thursday. And I believe on one of those days, a number of high school students could be brought in to see the play as well, hopefully entice them to come and be part of our campus and our campus community. There was mention about 2 ongoing faculty searches, one for a biology instructor and another for a elect tech program. I don't know, maybe there's been more information about that since then, but there had been mention that that's still ongoing. And it had been reminded, we've been reminded to get our grades in by May 16th on noon sharp. Otherwise, we feel the wrath of Scott Collins, and nobody wants that. Our chief diversity officer, John Van Bladel, actually had a discussion and also had discussed best practice for inclusion. There was also discussion about the importance of pronouns these days and how we need to be sensitive to how people want to be referred to related to gender or lack thereof, or a combination of those. So I think that was an interesting and important conversation to have. The assessment committee noted that there's I guess they're implementing the Weave software for assessment moving forward. I think I mentioned that last meeting too. And the institutional learning outcome assessment is going to be aligned with general education for the 2024-2025 academic year and beyond, which is good. So we'll see how that plays out. With curriculum, Marty Waffle and Mike Youngs had come to curriculum committee and discussed the new curriculum mapping, and there had been some training in regards to that over the past couple of weeks. So that seems to be going well. And there's been a couple of micro credential revisions, one to the cannabis cultivation policy and procedures, one to chemical abuse counseling, and one to medical office representative. Basically, those three programs had courses that were no longer being offered, so they replaced those to make sure the sequence is right. The social science division brought a new course to curriculum and then to the assembly for approval, and it was approved, the sociology of happiness and health. And I don't know if John Van Bladel there right now, but he's actually the one who prepared it, so he can tell you more about that if you're interested. And there's just a minor program to the Elect Tech, what was called Elect Tech, which will be now Robotics and Engineering Technology. Its new name. Just a couple of other things. Institutional Advancement Committee discussed how they're looking at new charges and a related assessment plan, because institutional advancement and policy are going to be combining too. So they've got a bit of work ahead of them, and they're looking for feedback from last Founders Day, and they're beginning to think about Founders Day for next year. The ad hoc Middle States Committee noted, Ruth Scott primarily presented on this, I believe, but I think Dan Town also chimed in, that tomorrow actually the drafts are due. So hopefully everybody will get theirs in and we'll be ready to go on that. And the draft will be presented to next assembly meeting, which is the 26th, for feedback. And we want to have that draft ready by the 10th, and it'll be finalized over the summer. So it looks like everything's on track for the spring 2025 visit for Middle States. Student life, they noted that they mentioned the student who's going to be the focus for the student spotlight, and applications for Distinguished Student Awards will be reviewed at the next meeting, so we should hear something about that soon as well. And lastly, just at the very end of the meeting, a couple of public comments. They've been noted that the Hands for Animals Club, they have their food and supply drive, which I think happened already, and so hope things went well for them. And the dates for the academic banquet and the award ceremony and nursing pinning ceremony and Rad Tech luncheon and award ceremony had been noted, as well as commencement. And lastly, I just reminded everybody at that meeting that the deadline for applications for student commencement speaker was the following day, and we had one applicant, so that applicant will be our student speaker, and that's Bam. Blam's last name is Mercol. I'm not really sure what his last name at this point. But Bam Barokalas, that's right. Will be our student speaker. So I'm working on his speech right now, and I'm going to send him an edited version of it, and then he'll send me back edits, and we'll work on that, and hopefully it'll go well as it has in the past. And I think that's it for me, unless anyone has any questions or comments for me.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
We are going to move on to the student trustee report, but before I do so, on behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, I'd like to congratulate student trustee Carter as a winner of the Chancellor's Award.
Oh.
Meeting of the month, and we did remove the 14 inactive clubs temporarily, just so other clubs can get that funding. And then we did approve for, the student SSA, spring conference that's gonna happen this weekend. We approved funding for 1 day, 2 nights with 5 members and 1 advisor. And, we also did speak about and approve on an increase of our student activity fees. Full-time $15 more and part-time $12 more increase. And then we voted a new student senate rep for us too. So we are hopefully have full board for next semester. Oh, that's fall semester. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the foundation report with trustee Gazi Magada.
Chair. Brill Gallery, Director Brian May, will host, the 30th, annual FMCC, George Regional High School Art Exhibition, from April 8th to April 18th. At that, they received some, award at the April 18th. And as well as they have a reception from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And this year, we choose the juror, the local artist named Alexander Hayden. And she's responsible for making the exhibition award section, selection rather. And there are 3 categories. 5 for juror choice award. Each person get $100, and 2 members they get honorable mention award for $50, and 1 person get choice award for people choice award, which we get $50. The next item, right after this finish with the high school, we're going to have that gallery dressed up with the art student, FM student art, which is going to be from Monday, April 29th until May 10th. The reception, as usual, like above, is going to be at the very end, meaning May 10th, between 6 to 7:30. And anybody is interested as far as the student to display their art, they have to get in touch with Mr. Brian May, because there is some rule and regulation they have to before they submit their artwork. The sale of foundation land, which is 155 acres, is going well. Continuing to do well. And the other item is foundation is still raising money for multi-purpose turf athletic field, and foundation sent a proposal to the office of Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and Congressman Stephanie. And still local fundraising continue, and they're approaching some donors locally, and this is and they're dealing with the contractor for that purpose. This is very excuse me if I'm not saying Chenago. Chenango. Okay, contracting, they are very well, they're one of the world leader in artificial turf, and maybe 100 projects they did it, and different, and they're very, very good at it apparently. Last but not least, the foundation 30th annual golf tournament is going to be on May 23rd after our graduation. And so far we have 36 foursome, meaning they're full, but they're creating the waiting list. player and sponsor make this event successful. And the process from this event goes to college and high school scholarship. And sponsorship is between 250 to 10,000. And so far, they collect 30,000. And this one, you can help at different level, go and become a sponsor, or go and play, or go and have dinner for $65 for that reason. One more thing before I conclude my report. Every year we sponsor a hall, and this year the same, and we paid $250, and that is going to be divided among us, with the exception of student trustee. Just a friendly reminder. I really appreciate if you look into it. If you forgot to pay, would you be kind to forward your payment to Miss Ambassador? With that, if there's no question, I conclude my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
What is there an amount to? $35. How much? 35. 35?
35.
Paying it tonight.
Okay,
I think I said.
throw in some for me. Yeah, you're all good.
Really?
Kevin's
What?
here.
No. Whatever. Yeah. Mail me a check, or you can do it right online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy that way.
Absolutely. Oh, I didn't- We're gonna give Kevin the floor.
I just wanted to stop in. I was supposed to be here tonight. Our men's basketball team was supposed to be here tonight. I think it got away from us because of our banquet last night, but I was just feeding my 91-year-old dad at our house. Kind of got away from me. But I just wanted to personally come here and apologize because that's not what we do. And especially because Greg supports us. I value what he does for our institution. So I wanted to come over and apologize to you guys and to Greg. So.
We're not upset at all. We can break earlier.
Yeah. Well, that's, I just feel bad. It's not how.
Thanks.
It's not how.
It's never gets there.
So, Raiders basketball, Raiders basketball.
And thank you for the wonderful event last night. That was
Yeah, that's kind of, we had a really great time last night. So I appreciate all of you. I just want to stop over.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin, appreciate it.
Trustee Beck was unable to join us tonight, so Chastity Hulsaver will share the finance committee news.
So, it's not the summary budget versus the actual for the period of 9/1/23 to 3/31/24 covers 58% of our fiscal year. To date, actual expenses and encumbrances are 56% of the budget. Finance statement includes revenue and expenses for the period of 9/1/23 to February 2024. Billing activity through the end of February and covers all 23 winter 24, spring 24 semesters. We're at 103% of our tuition budget, and expenses are 47.2% of budget. Budget transfers, contracts, and grant rewards reports were provided in our March activity. Just a quick update on the 24-25 FAFSA. So we did receive about 300 FAFSAs at the end of March. Updates are still ongoing from the Department of Education. The one thing to note here too is that SUNY recently awarded the college $15,000, which we can use to support the FAFSA implementation. That'll be helpful, especially during the summer months. Aid a little bit once the wave of FAFSAs finally do make their way to the campus. We do have a board motion tonight for a budget transfer, which requires board review and approval. And this transfer pertains to athletics recruitment. So I will read the motion. The Board of Trustees approves all budget transfers between budgetary departments that exceed $5,000 and all transfers that affect full-time salary accounts. Budget transfers arise primarily from the need to redistribute budget funding to cover expenses. This budget transfer for 23-24 is needed to cover expenses related to part-time salaries. Recommendation, the president recommends that the board and trustees approve the 22-23 budget transfer listed on the attached page. This is a transfer from collaborative career learning, part-time salaries to certified nursing part-time salaries in the amount of $10,441.
May I have a sponsor for that motion? Trustee Preston, second. Trustee Jazzowitz, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Are you all set? We'll move on to buildings and grounds with trustee Landrio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few things we want to point out, and I'm reading the report in the packet. The wastewater treatment plant as a major issue has emerged. Two of the big pumps and needed to be pulled. The facility team has found that one of the pumps was jammed and the other needs to be replaced. Since the equipment is original and there are no longer parts available, we need to purchase a new pump as well as control. The cyber lab rooms are complete from the facilities perspective. The IT team is working to complete installation of the workstations, and which we actually saw that on the tour yesterday. So they're very job. And there's a physical education building. Recently, the facilities team is working with mid-states roofing to address their needed repairs. We do have a motion before the board for approval. The background is the college has a 2016 international dump truck that has been determined to be no longer useful or appropriate for the operations of the facilities. The college needs it fit for auction. Recommended method of sale is for an online auction with a minimum bid of 30,000. Auctions International out of East Aurora, New York, specializes in selling government municipal surplus items has been used by the college in the past. The recommendation, President recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the use of Auction International for the online auction process with a minimum bid of $30,000. Authorize the President to approve the sale of the transaction. That's in the form of a motion.
I make a motion.
I think it's a motion by trustee Landrio, second by trustee Hudson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Over the years, I've had a lot of experience with Auctions International. They're very good. Good. So Madam Chair, that concludes our report.
Thank you. Dr. Preston is going to give us the latest in academic affairs.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just a few things to touch on in the packet that you all received. On March 13th, the Behavioral Health Program sponsored a field trip to the state capitol for Mental Health Matters Day. It gave the students the opportunity to learn about mental health policy and also engage our local state legislators. So thank you for that. We also had, on March 25th and 26th, we had a 2-day mental health first aid training for adults that was offered to faculty and staff within the college. That was led by Melissa Geyer, who some of us may know, from the Mental Health Association in Fulton-Montgomery County, 11 SUNY FM faculty and staff, as well as 3 members of the Fulton-Montgomery Workforce Solutions Center attended that training, learned how to respond to mental health crisis, as well as how to mitigate the potential of a crisis happening. So thank you for that work. I will briefly talk about the job fair that was held today. As Greg had stated in his remarks, Very busy day on campus, from 12 to 3 today in the gym. Over 60 employers attended, and anticipated about 300 attendees. So that's always a great thing. And then finally, several recruiting events were held in the month of March for nursing students. That included Bassett Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital, Palatine Nursing Home, and Nathan Tower Hospital here, all on different days throughout the month of March. There is one motion that I will read. The background, in its ongoing assessment efforts to review academic program offerings at the college, the faculty and the administration determined that revisions are necessary in the electrical technology AES program. To better reflect the nature of the program in the industry, the recommendation is made to change the name from electrical technology AAS to robotics and engineering technology AAS. So the motion would be, the president recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the proposed title revision from electrical technology AAS to robotics and engineering technology AAS. Following action by the Board of Trustees, the program changes will be forwarded to SUNY and the New York State Education Department.
Motion by trustee Preston. Do I have a second? Trustee Landrieu. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
And that'll conclude my report.
So I just have one item to add to the academic affairs report. On May 2nd, we will have an event. You should have received an email, I believe Maria sent it out, for our cyber lab. So we'll be having our grand opening of our cyber range and our cyber security classroom. There will be dignitaries from the state. The governor is expected to attend. Senator Gillibrand is expected to be here, along with other elected officials, and the vice president for security operations at IBM will be here and be the keynote speaker for that event. And Amazon Web Services will be here, and one other company whose name escapes me, but they will be making a special announcement as well. We are the first community college that they partnered with, and they are launching an initiative with this grand opening that's going to be pretty exciting. So it is an IBM event. You have to register through the link that was an email that Maria sent. We can't actually do it for you. So if you are interested in attending, we'd love to have you here. Please register, and the event will include, some refreshments, and then we'll be in the theater, and then we'll head down to the cyber range as well. So
Sounds very fun.
give your speech ready.
Working on it. Still working on it. Okay, trustee Perry is going to give us the latest on student affairs.
All right, the full report is in our packet, as provided our meeting. But I'll give you some highlights, some of the things that have been touched on in previous reports. But again, our spring open house is going to be this Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. On Tuesday this past week, FMCC hosted a recruiting event with College for Every Student, Brilliant Pathways program for high school students. And this was for rural school districts. That the ones represented were Schoharie, Oswego, and surrounding counties. Feedback from one of the guidance counselors was as follows. It was a fantastic event and the students enjoyed themselves thoroughly. I will take students to any event you wish to host at FMCC. The faculty and staff are welcoming and clearly love what they do. And that enthusiasm was evident and makes for a memorable experience. Thank you again for offering this opportunity for us. And I look forward to bringing more students to FM campus in the coming years. That's great feedback. The athletic banquet, as we heard, was last night, and everybody's very proud to honor all the student athletes and coaches for their excellent achievements this academic year. The student success team will be hosting a wellness fair, which we heard about also Tuesday, April 23rd. Campus and community organizations will come together to provide important information to students. And then the Evans Library has been busy assisting faculty with research needs for their various projects and papers. The library also purchased new book titles on world cultures. The intent of this was to support the DEISJ specific courses, as well as the campus community at large. And then for March, Women's History Month, the principal clerk, Rosina, am I saying that right? Belknap, correct? Created several bulletin boards on campus and to celebrate the National Poetry Month, which is in April. Also, spaces in the library and commons continue to be very popular meeting spaces for our students on campus for their activities, club meetings, and then information literacy classes, success coaching, and campus communities. So that's nice to see that they're really using the library space. That's great. And like I said, to read more about what's going on in student affairs, look in your packet, and that is my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. John Blondell will update us on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Good evening, everybody. Attached report that we sent our DEI annual report to SUNY. Should be in the packet, sent it over for you to take a look at that, see if you have any questions. Let's see, let me move down the list here. Oh, Marsha Christian was the person who attended the diversity, equity, and inclusion council meeting. She's the coordinator of retention. She's going to talk about pronouns at the college assembly. And, one of the things that I really try and do is based on my vocation. I really can't speak to the lives of individuals, but I create the conditions where they have a voice. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is trying to empower people to share their experiences, bring their expertise, and have a voice. Okay, the sociology of happiness and health. Yes, it has been approved. We got through that one. I collaborated with the nursing department on that. Because particularly over the last several years, anyone in healthcare, anyone providing mental health treatment with COVID, knows the stress that people have been under. Self-care is not something that programs really spend a lot of time on. I mentioned last time, so I gave myself a 10-week course in happiness from Yale. Do I seem happier? And that was partly to see where I stood in relation to them. And a lot of what we're doing here really is similar to what they've been doing, except they're well coordinated. So we have something in place for that. We'll also touch on diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. There's health outcomes from minorities are worse for any number of reasons. Okay. I just make it clear the relationship between something I've talked about, peace and diversity, equity, inclusion, social justice. As you know, when I first got here, I particularly building peace course, which really focused on structural violence, which is discrimination, racism, poverty, and such. And I just really try to work to redefine that term so people understand what it is. They often associate it with warfare, certainly that's part of it. There does exist the structural violence that I just mentioned. That's part of it. Okay. What else we're gonna do? Oh, Passover's coming up. So we're gonna make people aware of that date. That begins Monday at sundown, I believe. That's about it for me. Any questions? Feel free to ask.
Thank you. Accreditation updates.
Yep, so last time we talked about the Middle States identified an individual to serve as our team chair. They've now confirmed, they reached out to him, he is willing to serve. So Dr. John Connolly from Sussex Community College in New Jersey will be our team chair. We're currently working with Dr. Connolly on fall dates, fall visit date, and then on nailing down the site visit for the Fulton in the spring of 2025. As you heard Steve say, tomorrow is the deadline for our various working groups to get their draft materials in so that we can get that report put together and put to the campus before they leave for the summer. And then it will also, we'll be providing that to you for feedback as well. And you'll have an opportunity to meet with our co-chairs again as we move toward the finish line on our accreditation. And that is some of my report.
Excellent. Personnel with Trustee Jesuit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff additions, transfers, promotion, retrenchments, resignations, and or retirements. Kelly Hamilton started on March 18th as our new LPD coordinator. Counselor rather, Kelly is a graduate of Castleton University and recently relocated to Cobleskill with her family. For the last 7 years, Kelly has been a middle school adjustment counselor for the Springfield International Charter School and Wilburn Middle School in Massachusetts. Kim Scott started on March 25th as our new apprenticeship and career planning specialist. Kim received her bachelor's degree in liberal studies, cultural anthropology from SUNY Plattsburgh, and obtained her master's degree in technical communications from RPI. She has held academic advising and outreach positions at Excelsior College, Empire State College, Thompson, Edison State College, and St. Peter's University. He has worked in the field of contract management and most recently worked at Med International as a quality assurance analyst. Sadly, Scott Britt, our Dean of Academic Affairs, resigned as of April 2nd. Term appointments and discretionary promotions for FACE members were recently approved by the president. The attached list provides additional details. Vacancy search is in progress. Pending offers for the fall of 2024 electrical technology faculty full-time search is in progress. Academic advisor and grant pathway specialist full-time grant funded search in progress. Fall 2024 biology faculty full-time search in progress. I also have a motion for the board tonight for emeritus status. Background is retiring faculty members with at least 15 years of service with distinguished service and who are recommended by the supervising administrator, the president, are eligible for appointment to emeritus status by the board. A career summary form prepared by a faculty peer reviewed is attached to this motion for each of the candidates recommended for emeritus status. The president recommended that the board of trustees recognize the faculty member listed below. Assistant Professor Lynn Elsley for their distinguished service and bestow upon them emeritus status effective September 1st, 2024. I'd like to add that she is also a graduate of 1986 of FMCC and started her career with us in 2008. And that's in form of a motion.
Second, trustee Benado. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my report.
Trustee Wilson, give us some policy.
Madam Chairman, I am pleased to announce that I have nothing to report.
Any other business to come before the board tonight?
Greg, has there been any, what's the status in the broker of record in Nimer, Mr. Vangorder, to help Chastity with the insurance?
So you have had a subsequent meeting, was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Since we were here later.
Yeah, no, reached out, they did come, not this last week, but the week before, and they did come and have. So it's still ongoing, these cases. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, like very, the budget picture. Yeah, it's on the charts.
Any other business to come before the committee? Okay, we're going to do a budget workshop after we adjourn, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Trustee Preston, second trustee Wilson, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned for our workshop.